Good morning, everyone. Hi. This will be a 20-minute talk which will solve all the mysteries of Makara, Venus, and the creative hierarchies. Are you ready? Oh, there's that chart. You know, the one that sends many running. I thought Harold had a good idea. I will begin at the end. Maybe stay there. I'm going to deal with about 8 mysteries. No, actually there's 9. Rather briefly. These mysteries, I'll say them out in the beginning so that at least we'll know what should have been covered. The mystery which relates the solar angels to the 5 liberated creative hierarchies. The mystery of serpents and dragons. The mystery of the spiritual status of the solar angels and their position upon the cosmic planes. Then coming down to earth, the mystery of redemption, the mystery of sacrifice, the mystery of God immanent, the mystery of good and evil, the mystery of infusion, and the mystery of love. 20 minutes. Okay, here goes. A friend came to me yesterday and said, you know, listening to you talk is like riding a roller coaster. So I have to agree. I woke up this morning with every intention of being absolutely simple and then got involved in the mystery of the solar angels. So here goes. I suppose the most important thing really, coming from the 6th rule for disciples and initiates is the following line. Let the group know the vivid, flaming, drenching life which floods the 4th when the 5th is known. It's all about straight experience of the 5th creative hierarchy. We have to know and feel what they do, and all of this other stuff is nice to know, but later when we are Dhyani Buddhas, we'll know more. I'm going to do a lot of essentializing here. Let's deal with the, meaning I have 11 pages here and about 3 pages worth of time. The major mystery here, the mystery of the relation of the 5 to the 5. And the particular 5 that we're dealing with here are these 5 liberated or almost liberated groups of monads that we call creative hierarchies. Hierarchy the 5th creative hierarchy is, as we know from the study of the secret doctrine, a most mysterious one. This mystery is incident upon the retention, the relation of the 5th hierarchy to the 5 liberated groups. And these are the 5 liberated groups of monads, and they're also called on the side of it all the 5 Kumaras. Well, Kumaras are great beings. There are intra-planetary Kumaras, and there are the planetary logoi themselves, which are often called Kumaras. So I'm not exactly sure which are meant here. I kind of hope think it's the intra-planetary Kumaras, the ones that are still within our planet and not the planetary logoi themselves. This relation in connection with our particular planet, which is not a sacred planet, can be somewhat understood if the history of the Buddha and his work is contemplated, and this is hinted at in the secret doctrine. I suppose it's because the Buddha somehow represented for us something of the cosmic mental plane, which is just like way beyond belief, but when he was enlightened at the 6th degree, he had a touch of the cosmic mental plane, and that's where the solar angels really come from in a sense. So let's take a look at the table of creative hierarchies and see what Master DK may be talking about. I think the numbers will tell the story. We have a very important number here. This is an almost liberated creative hierarchy said to be veiling the Christ. It's number 5, and it has a direct relation to the 5th creative hierarchy over here, which is the hierarchy of solar angels. Most mysterious because you kind of wonder what they're doing way down there. That's far too low for their real status. So we're going to have to see what is the mystery. So I'm going to just kind of pass a little bit on this relation of the 5 to the 5. This 5th creative hierarchy, which is ruled by Venus, somehow summarizes the influence of all of these 5 liberated or almost liberated hierarchies, just in the same way that Neptune, which is the planet of the Cancerian hierarchy here, which is almost liberated, but is not on the cosmic astral plane yet. It's still on the cosmic physical plane, the highest level, just the way that 5 is related to the solar angels which are ruled by Venus. You know the story between Neptune and Venus? Neptune is considered to be the higher octave of Venus. And so the two hierarchies with which they are connected have two planets which are intimately related and probably both have second-ray spirits or monads. I know this, look, I think all we want to do with this all is just kind of appreciate the depth of this mystery. If I do nothing else but convey to you how really confusing this is, I will have done my job. Okay, there is the mystery number 2 here, the mystery of dragons and serpents. Serpents are not yet dragons, but one day they will be. And for many reasons, we can equate the solar angels with serpents. My wife, Tuya, is always telling me about the serpentine nature of the solar angels, these flame-like beings, and I have to agree with that. And we human beings who one day hope to become wise as serpents are really reflecting the fiery serpentine nature of the solar angels. Now, this is a little bit of math. It takes many serpents to make a dragon, okay? So this is hearkening back to what Robert said last night about the 49 groups of solar angels that will be breathed out as planetary logoi in the next Mahamanvantara. So solar angels or serpents in their aggregate will become planetary logoi, and every planetary logos is a dragon of wisdom, a dragon of, actually, interesting how he writes it, a dragon of wisdom, love. That's how he writes the name of the planetary logos. So they're on their way. One day they will be on the path of the planetary logoi, not yet, but solar angels are serpents who are going to become dragons. The text continues here. The relation of the 5th hierarchy to a certain constellation also has a bearing on this fundamental mystery of why the 5th creative hierarchy is related to the 5 Kumaras. This is hidden in the karma of our solar logos and concerns his relationship to another solar logos and the interplay of force between them in a great Mahakalpa. Well, you know, I don't know why he's mincing words there. I'm pretty sure that other solar logos is Sirius, from whom the dragon religion and the serpent religion influences the earth. Also, the constellation of the dragon is involved. So our solar logos has a connection with Sirius. It's a big connection, and Sirius is so important in our present solar system, but they had a relationship among themselves in a previous solar system. You know, the big green ball that Robert was showing us last night, that earlier a major solar system, I'm sure we are told Sirius was even more influential at that time. Okay, so DK says, this is the true secret of the dragon. It was the dragon influence or the serpent energy which caused the influx of manas or mind energy, manasic or mind energy into the solar system. Well, that's Sirius for sure. Sirius was responsible for bestowing manas upon our solar logos, or at least stimulating it. Entangled closely with the karma of these two cosmic entities was that of our lesser cosmic entity, who is the life of our planet, the planetary logos. It was this triple karma which brought the serpent religion, and the serpents are dragons of wisdom in Lemurian days. And I won't go on with that anymore, but suffice it to say, there is an incredible Syrian connection here, and everything having to do with us becoming true serpents of wisdom. That means like the masters, or a master of wisdom is even called a lesser dragon of wisdom. And one day we will become lesser dragons of wisdom, especially those of us who are hoping, or being assigned to Earth's service, because the lesser dragons of wisdom are particularly those who have to work under the green dragon on the first path of Earth's service. How many of you would like to be on the path of Earth's service, that humble, very tedious, and long-lasting path, which, if you do it right, will make you a solar logos next? Hands? All right. You have to fight your way, though, onto that path. All right. Now, here is really, this is a knotty one, and this is the mystery of the true status of the 5th creative hierarchy and its position upon the cosmic planes. Boy, this one kept me going, and first of all, DK says we can't solve any of this. It's insoluble, okay, given what we presently know and the limitations of our minds. But at least if we know how difficult the problem is, then we have a certain humility and appreciation for it and are not liable to jump to conclusions and make bold and stupid pronouncements. So how high really are the solar angels to be placed? In other words, are they to be placed no higher than the Buddhic plane? Which, of course, they are filled with Buddhi and they are filled with love. But is this their true plane? Because they certainly are operating on the mental plane here, helping to create our causal body. So what is their true locus, their true focus? Well, let's consider a few little implications here. A solar angel is an initiate of all degrees. What does that mean? Okay, well, how many degrees are possible for a human being? 9 degrees. Maybe it wasn't so in the previous solar system. Maybe only 7 degrees were possible, 7 degrees of initiation. But as far as humanity is concerned, they are an initiate of all degrees, and they're members of the council of the solar logos, when even a master of the wisdom is doing well to become a member of our planetary council. So these are high beings, okay? So are they just, hanging out on the Buddhic plane or what? Okay, they left presumably in the last solar system for that great training center for solar angels. They were, what did you say, Robert, enlightened Brahmins of the ancient time, and some of them went off to Sirius for training. And you know where that path onto Sirius leads. It leads onto the cosmic astral plane, which is above this whole thing, right? And how do you travel when you go that way? You can't leave your monad behind and go somewhere, right? So they themselves as monads did this traveling onto the cosmic astral plane in order to reach Sirius, unless of course it was entirely different in those days and Sirius was not really on the cosmic astral plane, but I'm assuming it was, because we are told that if we want to become solar angels, and the bulk of us will become solar angels, we have to travel onto the cosmic astral plane, presumably in our monad. That's our particular spaceship. So from this perspective, the monads of these solar angels have already escaped the cosmic physical plane, even though they're operating down here now. In order to get that wider education, they had to at least focus cosmic astrally, and Sirius as a whole is focused cosmic mentally. So sometimes I've wondered whether all the creative hierarchies, these groups of monads up here and beyond, are really all of them solar angels of a particular kind. You know what I mean? Maybe this term solar angels is a generic term, and maybe all of these hierarchies, being influenced by the second circle of petals from the egoic lotus of the solar logos, maybe they're all solar angels. So we have to be careful how the word is applied. Here it says they receive their primary impulse from the cosmic astral plane, but they are also expressions of a vibration emanating from the second row of petals in the logoic lotus on the cosmic mental plane. So solar angels are high beings and they have escaped already the cosmic physical plane. Now, I think to make a long story short, it's tremendously sacrificial what they're doing. And they are working all the way down here on the Buddhic and also on the mental plane, where a portion of their energy substands what we call the egoic lotus. But as well, they are coming through the head center and heart center of our planetary logos. And I have a theory here, and I have 11 minutes. Whoops, and I'm a little disoriented, but that's all right, nothing should change. There is something here, let's see, Fellowship of Cosmic Fire, right. Okay, so AAB diagrams. This is the typical diagram we always use. Now I've forgotten why I've even going there. Yes, okay. It's just a third-rate brain, right? What are you going to do? All right. So look over here. A very interesting hint, and thank you, Keith, for this chart, okay? A very interesting hint exists in relation to where the chakras are found in the constitution of man. While the lower chakras are found on the fourth ether, okay, the higher chakras are apportioned to the third ether, second ether, and first ether, namely in this manner. that the throat center is on the third ether, the heart center is on the second ether, and the head center, including the ajna center, I would say, are on the first ether. Now, if you extrapolate by the law of analogy, you know what that does for the solar logos' chakras, don't you? What's going to happen is that his head center is going to be found on the logoic plane, and his heart center is going to be found on the monadic plane. And these solar angels, while they did not come from those areas, are focused within the head center and heart center of the solar logos, and from thence descend and do their work. So they are focused very high. In other words, they have a whole map that they have descended from, and it's not just the Buddhic plane, okay? Even for man, it's not the Buddhic plane. So now I want to make a point, at last, and that's that the spirit nature of the solar angels is not even on the cosmic physical plane. That's what I want to say. Even the man as a spirit or as a monad is focused right here on the cosmic physical plane on the second level, and when we finally do the prodigal son bit and come all the way home, we're going to come back to the monadic plane until we're liberated later onto the logoic. But the solar angelic monads are up there on the cosmic astral plane, along with the monads of many other hierarchies. So there's no reason why there should not be a monadic level on the cosmic astral plane, and there is. And that's where I think the solar angels are now focused, as well as others. So they're coming down a huge distance in order to help us. That's my thesis. Well, I got a bunch of stuff here, okay. Oh, well, there's really some interesting stuff here. I think I've just more or less summarized it for you, and later I'll kick myself for missing all these interesting points. Okay. Yeah, okay. There's such a connection between the fifth creative hierarchy, which is almost liberated, and the solar angels. And I kind of pointed to that earlier. And they are mediating hierarchies, both of them. One is Cancer, one is Capricorn. So here is this veiling the Christ hierarchy, in which Neptune is the hierarchical ruler and it's Cancer, and they're not even on the cosmic astral plane yet. They're a bridge. They are a bridge between where the Christ is trying to go to the cosmic astral plane and the whole cosmic physical plane. This is a bridging hierarchy because truly and really it's not yet there. Where it is found is on the highest ether of the cosmic physical plane. In other words, that Cancer hierarchy is still stuck on our highest ether, and it's ruled by Neptune. This is so interesting because the divine flames, who are also related to the solar angels because they're so Leo and so number 5, are also ruled by Neptune, and they are the true ones who are focused on the logoic plane. So we've got two creative hierarchies focused on the very highest plane where Shambhala is found. And this is and they both have a very powerful Neptune, and the solar angels are related to both of them. So there's an aspect of the solar angels which is focused right up there at the top. And yet, just like man, they are both working on the Buddhic plane. Man's destiny is to become a truly functioning monad, expressing Buddhically on the Buddhic plane, and the solar angels have descended so low into Buddhi as to help him do that, and have descended even lower than that into the mental plane, and are in a way acting out the role of crocodiles as well as great saviors. And I'll get into that with the mystery of good and evil. Okay, so that's my terrible summary of that point. Now, the next mystery is the mystery of redemption. It is related to the moon chain failure and our planetary logos' special need for solar angels. You know, a lot of us were on the moon chain in those old days, and I think the planetary logos kind of went mad at that time. Something happened. He let the beast out of the bag too fast, and chaos came. And that chaos has been brought over into our particular planetary chain, and we're still fighting the lunar influence. It's really rough. But the redemption was necessary and is necessary. This redemption, this process of redemption, is connected to the way that Sanat Kumara can always bring good out of evil, and to an even greater capacity, which the solar logos has, to even use the machinations of the Black Lodge as part of the plan, which our Sanat Kumara, our planetary logos, cannot yet do. The solar angels are hearts of fiery love. But their ministrations to the sons of men, which Robert pointed out yesterday are a necessity for their evolution, are helping them go much deeper into love, so that when they become planetary logoi, or true dragons of wisdom love, they will express an even fuller measure of love. And that love that they have now is the redeeming factor that's lifting many of us moonchain failures up into a higher state of love and wisdom. Now, not everybody is a moonchain failure or even a failure from a previous solar system, only some of us. But what happens here is that even if you're not a moonchain failure, our whole planetary scheme is affected by that. It's affected by the failure. So even if you didn't have anything to do with that, you're still suffering the karmic consequences of it. So that's the mystery of redemption. It comes out of a deep well of love and the need of the solar logos to get things moving on hospital Earth so that he can have a base of the spine center to take his 5th initiation at the end of this Mahamanvantara, either 4 or 5. We've got to be in good shape if we're going to be a base of the spine for the solar logos. Okay, the next thing is the mystery of sacrifice. The solar angel is in the midst of expressing a huge sacrifice. And it can last from 10 million years for those of us who may come from the moon chain to up to 25 million years for those who are earth chain humanity. Sanat Kumara especially, who is higher than the solar angels, of course. He's the Lord of the Flame and essentially a planetary logos. He's called the Great Sacrifice, and he's teaching these solar angels even more about sacrifice. So the sacrifice of the solar angels is an expression of their love, and they're so infused with love, even though it's not as great as that of the planetary logoi, that they sacrifice because of love. And that's not just calculation, and that's just not expectation. That is a prompting of the heart of love, which makes sacrifice the most natural thing to do. So love and sacrifice go together. The more you sacrifice, the more you love, and the more you love, the more you sacrifice. Okay, the next mystery. Mystery of God immanent. This is the mystery of God within. This is the mystery which humanity must learn, and really fast, because if you only believe in God transcendent, we're going to be in trouble. There's a lot of religions out there in the world that pretty well believe in God transcendent and not God immanent, and they're all going to fight with each other, okay? So as soon as we bring God immanent into the picture, we're going to have a much better basis for human understanding. These solar angels in us, who are representatives of the great God of love, it's like the solar logos being in us, their immanence in us. And it tells us, it represents God the solar logos in us. Okay, the mystery of good and evil. 2 minutes and 42 seconds. Okay, the mystery of good and evil. The 5th creative hierarchy is a dual hierarchy. Parts of that hierarchy are called the crocodiles and relate to the human personality. This is a hierarchy ruled by Capricorn, in which the best of human beings and the worst can appear. Capricorn is like a diamond. Here's the top, here's the bottom. This is the great hierarchy of light. This is the infernal hierarchies. That's the diamond. Okay, so part of the solar angelic hierarchy is characterized by the upward pointing star of Venus and part by the downward pointing star. And what I really think happened is, back in the previous solar system, there were advanced individuals. Some of them became solar angels. Some of them went on and became members of the Black Lodge when they could have perhaps become solar angels. Others were just failures and just kept going. So I think there were 3 things that happened in that previous solar system. And because the hierarchy is split, the lower part of it is related to that tendency of the personality to drive energies down, and it's manipulated by the Black Lodge and the Lords of Form. The higher part of the hierarchy that we usually call the Agnishvatas is related to Venus and to the upward pointing star. Okay, next, the mystery of God immanent. Well, okay, I just did that, didn't I? That was good and evil. Okay, good and evil's done. All right. Finally, the mystery of being consciousness infusion. And that's an amazing thing, like I've been saying, a being within a being, a consciousness within a consciousness. We can think of consciousness as a fluid, all-pervading sentiency or sensitivity to contact and touch. Consciousness is fluid, it can slip in and out, it pervades all. And how can you have a consciousness within your consciousness and a being within your being? Well, you can. And we really have to ponder this carefully. By the presence of the consciousness of the solar angels within us, our limited consciousness can be transformed into a greater consciousness. Our limited point of tension can be temporarily raised to a higher point of tension and gradually permanently raised to a higher point of tension, which reveals much more than we can presently sense. So the master can do this. You become an outpost of the master's consciousness. Suddenly you feel, I know more than I knew. Then the consciousness is withdrawn, you know what you knew before. But eventually it can become quite high. So we're seeing more, we're registering more, we can heighten ourselves, and all because the solar angels are actually in us. We don't need the priests, we don't need the intermediaries. We've got these members of the council within the sun right inside our own being, as some of the illustrations showed yesterday. I've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and that's it. Okay. I'll just repeat the mysteries for the sake of, Master Morya says, when you want to remember something, hit your forehead. He says, press the bridge of your nose and you can make an indentation. All right. The mystery which relates the solar angels to the 5 liberated creative hierarchies, the mystery of serpents and dragons, the mystery of the spiritual status of the solar angels and their position upon the cosmic planes, the mystery of redemption, the mystery of sacrifice, the mystery of God immanent, the mystery of good and evil, the mystery of infusion, and finally, the mystery of love. I'm 37 seconds over, 38, bye. Okay.